Alright guys, Raw Rosslot here, and I'm here with a special episode of PPV Flashbacks today. Quite the unexpected episode. So a little anecdote first. I've been away this weekend and spending time with family up north of the country. And my brother, who lives up there, was telling me that the first we were just casually talking about WWE, which he does not watch anymore. We were casually talking about wrestling, and he said that the first pay per view he remembers watching was Royal Rumble 2000. Now, I'd never seen Royal Rumble 2000. I know what happened at the show, I know who wins the Rumble, world title matches, and stuff like that, but I'd never seen the show. And so, he put the show on, and last night we watched the show. He skipped through parts of the show, so on the way home from Durham today, I actually rewatched pretty much all of the show. Um, and yeah, so this is my kind of unexpected review of Royal Rumble 2000. This wasn't a show that was on my wheel of shows, or it wasn't really a show that was on my radar to review. But now I've watched it, I'm quite looking forward to talking about it. Royal Rumble 2000 is in that sort of sweet spot middle period where the company are red hot. They don't have Austin. Austin is injured. He's gone for neck surgery. But they do have this mega heel Triple H. They've got The Rock being a mega babyface, and they've got a couple of other developments happening. Like the Rascals will sign in a few weeks, and they've got a wonderful little tag division and things like that. And I'll be talking about a bunch of those things as we talk about the show. So I guess we should get into it. This will be my review of Royal Rumble 2000's pay-per-view flashbacks episode 4. So the opening so I should probably also say where the show took place. That's probably a good point. So the show took place in Madison Square Garden on January the 23rd, 2000. I do not have a theme for the show, apparently. I'm sure there was a theme song, it just doesn't have it here. January 23rd, 2000, from Madison Square Garden in New York. One of the greatest stadiums that WWE have ever really been in. As you know, they were there for Mania 10, Mania 20, which I've reviewed in this series. Please check out if you haven't. And it just, the building is perfect for wrestling. And this one here, with the aisle right down the middle where the ring is, beautiful. And they did some scenic things down the aisle, like just like graffiti on the walls and bricks, and it made it look really cool and really nice and really unique. And the opening contest on the show was Kurt Angle facing a mystery opponent. Now Angle comes out and Angle at this point is undefeated. He's got his hair, he's got his red, white, and blue singlet. This is only about 3 months after Angle debuted. I think he debuts at Survivor Series and beat Sean Stasiak in 1999. So he's had about 2 months, nearly 3 months, of just beating people, and he hasn't won any titles yet. He hasn't won the European title, the Intercontinental title. They will be coming up shortly. But this here was probably the biggest match, technically, of his career up to this point. And he opens the show. He comes out and he says that his opponent is going to need. He comes out as kind of like a true American babyface kind of promo, even though he is a heel. And it's good stuff. And he says his opponent is gonna need everything to beat him. And then Taz's music hits. And Taz, this is his debut coming across from ECW. Taz with two Zs, and he comes down to the ring, and they immediately scrap. And this match is about 3 minutes long. Wikipedia has it as 3 minutes 16. But it is like good stuff. Like Taz goes for a suplex in the ring, and he gets it, and Kurt Angle gives Taz a suplex on the outside, and they just start hitting each other with moves. Like Kurt Angle gives Taz a German in the ring. Taz gives Kurt Angle a belly-to-belly suplex in the ring. At one point, there is a slightly scary moment where Taz has Kurt Angle in a waistlock going for a German, and Kurt is a little bit overzealous. and he's like already ready to go over, and Taz like stops him and goes for the German again, and Kurt Angle only just goes over, like to flip onto his belly, and he mostly looks like he lands on his head and face. Very scary German there. Apparently, according to Taz, when he was on Talk Is Jericho, that actual spot really damaged his push, and it really damaged sort of his presentation in WWE, and that's terrible because it is literally his first match. Taz hits him with a Tazplex with the leg trap. He hits him with another like belly to belly overhead throw. He locks in. Kurt Angle at one point goes for the angle slam, but Taz counters that into his German suplex, I believe, or into the Tazplex actually. Taz locks in the Taz mission, the Kata Hajime, and Kurt Angle eventually passes out. Taz also said in that Talk Is Jericho interview, which I had a look at in my research of the show after watching it. He said that when the commentators basically keep calling the Taz mission like a choke, like a what's the word, an illegal choke, and Taz apparently did not know that would be a thing. Like nobody had told him not to use the Taz mission, not to use the rear naked choke or whatever. So I think he was a bit bummed out about that as well, though. But this match, it's like 3 minutes, but it is a good match. Like I'm going to give it 3 stars. It is a good way to open the show. The crowd went mental when Taz came out, and it was a really good debut for Taz. And it's a real shame that this is literally the height of his WWE tenure. Like he won the hardcore title and the tag title with Spike Dudley and things like that. But this is the height of his WWE tenure, and it would never get better. You know, he's probably more synonymous now for being like a decent commentator. Um, but yeah, this is still like a super debut, one of those really memorable debuts. Um, and yeah, good stuff. And this was, you know, again, it's sort of another one of those people in the pile of why 2000 is such a great year for the company, because they get so many great workers in, like Taz and the Rascals, as I've already said, and it just adds to this brilliant roster that they would have by the end of the year. But yeah, 3 stars, good match, good way to open the show. Actually, probably the best way they could open the show, realistically. After this, we have an interview backstage with the Hardy Boys and Terry, and the Hardy Boys are basically telling Terry to stay backstage during their tables match against the Dudley Boys because they don't want her to get hurt. Bubba and Devon come out to the ring. They trash New York. They trash John Rocker, who apparently said some bad things about New York. Really should have had a look up at what he said. He was a baseball player, I assume. And they get easy heat. Hardy Boys come out and attack them at the bell, and this is the second match on the show. It is the Hardy Boys against the Dudley Boys in a tag team tables match. The rules are you have to put both members of each team through a table with an offensive maneuver, and they kept saying that offensive maneuver, offensive maneuver. You cannot just go for a splash, person moves, that counts. You cannot just do that. And this is a super match. Like, this is a really good 10-minute match that is just chaos, crazy, good fun, and it would be a great precursor to the Triangle Ladder match at Mania 2000, and then the TLC matches that they would have with Edge and Christian. There's a lot of crazy shit, and I should also say there's a lot of horrible chair shots. Bubba Ray Dudley takes some pretty sick chair shots. He takes a really sick one on the outside, and then he takes a couple more sick ones as well. Devon takes a sick one as well. Bubba takes a chair shot on the outside, pretty minging one. Jeff goes to, like, crossbody him through a table on the outside, running round the barricade. And as he runs round, Bubba just throws the table into Jeff's face. Eventually, Bubba would get put through one of the tables, though. He gets laid down on a table on the outside. Matt climbs a ladder, and he leg drops Bubba through the table as Jeff also gives him a splash through the table. So Bubba is eliminated, but can still wrestle, like can still fight in the match. The Hardys then go to put Devon through a table with a leg drop through a table that is balanced between the stage steps and the apron, but Matt misses Devon. Devon rolls off the table. Matt dies through the table. I felt so sorry for his ankles. Jeff then goes to suicide dive Devon through a table that's leant against the barricade. He misses Devon. And so the Dudleys then roll Matt in the ring. They roll Matt in the ring, and they roll Matt in the ring, and they get two stage steps. They put a table on top of the two stage steps, and they powerbomb. Bubba powerbombs Matt off the top rope through the table, so he is eliminated. So it is only Devon and Jeff Hardy who need to get put through a table. Wild chaos stuff, like the Hardy Boys use a ladder to knock Bubba together to knock Bubba Ray out the ring at one point. They start fighting up the aisleway, and the Bubba Ray is giving 6 chair shots to Matt Hardy. Jeff goes for a chair shot on Bubba, but Bubba just catches the chair and just dinks him in the head with it. I hate these chair shots to the head, man, but they did make this match to a degree. And the Dudleys put 2 tables next to each other in the aisleway and pop a table on the top, and they put Matt Hardy on the top table, and Bubba and Jeff Hardy go round the aisle, up the stairs, and to the top of the balcony, which is above the aisleway. And Bubba is going to splash Matt Hardy through these tables, but Jeff Hardy low blows him from behind, gives him a sick chair shot, and then a second 6 chair shot, and Bubba Ray timbers through the 3 tables. He's already been eliminated though, so that doesn't end the matchup. Matt Hardy crawls through the wreckage of all these tables, and he dinks Devon Dudley with a chair. He sets up the last remaining table, puts Devon Dudley on it, and Jeff Hardy does the very famous spot where he does the Swanton Bomb off the balcony, through Devon, through the table. The Hardy Boys win this absolutely insane tag team tables match. I'm going to give this 3 3/4 stars. After the matchup, Matt Hardy carries Jeff Hardy to the barricade, like plops him over the barricade, and Jeff just falls over the barricade, head first, arms first. Like, honestly, it was such a funny little thing. And this is a terrific match. I really, really liked this. I hated the chair shots, but pure chaos for 10 minutes. Like, pure chaos for 10 minutes. And this made the Hardy Boys. This is probably the biggest win of their career up to this point. This or the ladder match at No Mercy, where they actually won Terry Runnels' contract against Edge and Christian. That match may be better than this, but this may be the biggest win, beating the Dudley Boys. Great stuff. 3 3/4 stars. Really, really liked this. Third match on the show is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, and just before it, you've got the co-champions, Chris Jericho and Chyna, who are co-champions because they both pinned someone, I believe. I can't remember why they're specifically co-champions. They're arguing backstage, basically, about who's going to hold the championship out to the ring. But it's a triple threat match, so it's not just those two. It is Chris Jericho, Chyna, and Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly, apparently, before this, doing my research, had been beaten by the 2 of them in recent weeks on Raw and SmackDown. Don't understand why he was in this matchup, but fair enough. Hardcore Holly comes out first, Chyna comes out second, and then Jericho comes out last. And Jericho comes out, and he announces that it is Madison Square Jericho, and he basically just says he's going to win the IC title. This triple threat match was a bit clunky. Chyna's in there, so it's kind of expected that it's going to be a bit clunky. She's a bit slow with everything. Her everything, like her clotheslines, her drop downs, everything is a bit clunky and a bit rusty. And they do a couple of cool bits, like there's a section where they're just slapping each other. So, like, Bob Holly will slap Chyna, and then Jericho will slap Bob Holly, and then Chyna will slap Jericho. And that was kind of cool. And Jericho does a crossbody to the outside onto Bob Holly at one point, and Chyna gets out of the way. Chyna's best, probably, thing in the whole match was she did a baseball slide to Bob Holly, and that was pretty cool. Hardcore Holly, I keep calling him Bob, sorry. Hardcore Holly goes for a Hurricane Rana at one point on Jericho, and he catches him and goes for the walls of Jericho, but China breaks it up. China hits a pedigree at one point, which I found very interesting. They allowed her to do a pedigree, given that Triple H is in the WWE Championship match up at this point. And the relationship between China and Triple H at this point was probably really toxic. But she hits a pedigree. That actually gets a near fall. It's not even broken up. Like, it's just a 2 count. They had Hardcore Holly in a 7-minute Intercontinental title match kick out of a pedigree. But the finish comes when China hits Hardcore Holly with a steel chair. She goes for the walls of Jericho, and she's got it locked in. It doesn't look great, and this is no offense to China. Okay, she was tremendous at certain things, but she was not tremendous at wrestling. And that woman had a tragic life as well. I feel so sorry for that woman. But yeah, she wasn't great at this. She's got the walls of Jericho locked in. She gets Jericho gives her a bulldog or a facebuster, they called it, and Jericho gives her the facebuster. He hits her with a lion salt and pins her to become the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to give this match 2 stars. It was a bit rough. There were a few bits I liked, like the bit where they all slapped each other was cool, and Hardcore Holly doing a Hurricane Rana was weird. But yeah, 2 stars. This was like kind of nothing. It was pretty rough, so they actually did quite well to even get it to 2 stars in my eyes. Next on the show, we had the WWE Tag Team Championship matchup as the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn defended the titles against the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw. The promo package before this matchup was one of the worst promo packages I've ever seen. Like, the actual content of it was okay. It was just like, we're not scared of Farouk and Bradshaw. Or maybe we are scared of them, is actually what they said, but we're still going to fight like hell, which the heels said. But it was sped up. It was like at times 2 speed for no reason, and it just made my eyes hurt watching it. And I noticed it, literally while I was watching it, both times. So I watched it today and last night, and I was like, this package is horrendous. So the Outlaws come out first as champions, and they do their shtick. And the Acolytes come out, just attack them at the bell, and it's just a 2-minute and 30-second match, something like that. And the Acolytes do a little bit of stuff. Bradshaw eventually hits a clothesline from hell on the Road Dogg. And he goes for the cover, and Billy Gunn pulls out the referee. And Farouk decks him on the outside, but he also decks the referee at the same time. They both get inside the ring, and they hit a double powerbomb on Road Dogg, but X-Pac comes out of nowhere, hits a spinning heel kick on Farouk. Hits a spinning heel kick on Bradshaw. Right. X-Pac hits a spinning heel kick on Bradshaw. So this... Right, we'll talk about that in a minute. So he hits a spinning heel kick on Bradshaw, which downs him. Farouk gets rid of X-Pac. Billy Gunn comes in out of nowhere, hits a famouser on Bradshaw, and pins him, even though he wasn't the legal man. 1, 2, 3. The New Age Outlaws retain. This was a shambles, this. Like, this really had nothing to do with the people in it, because, like, they're all decent workers. Simmons and JBL and Billy Gunn and Road Dogg are all decent workers. Just all the booking was trash. Like, real trash. They had the APA squash the Outlaws for 2 minutes just to then not win the belts and get beat with one finishing move. Literally, it was the only move I think Bradshaw took all match. This was trash. I'm going to give it 1 star. I can't give it any more than that. Like, obviously, it didn't go very long either, but you can have a 3-minute good match. Like I gave the opener 3 stars. And it was looking decent, realistically. And if the Acolytes had just won the match, maybe, and won the tag titles... Because the Outlaws actually do lose the belts soon after this to Edge and Christian, or to one of the teams in the WrestleMania 2000 Triangle Ladder match. So, yeah, this was daft. 1 star. This was not good. And I have also totally forgotten to review something on the show that I should talk about. So, after the Jeff Hardy, after the Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys ladder match, they did the Miss Royal Rumble swimsuit competition, which was like Ivory, Terry Runnels, Barbara Bush, Luna Vachon, the Cat. It was just a bunch of people, right? And they just took off their gowns, they showed their swimsuits, and Jerry Lawler is just there loving it. And because I reviewed the Carly Kiss Cam, so I should review this. And this segment, Jerry Lawler's just losing his mind. All these and Jackie Moore, sorry, was also there, and they all took their swimsuits off and shaked their bottoms, and it was awful to watch. It was horrible, and then Jerry Lawler. There's also judges for this contest. There's Sergeant Slaughter. There's Freddie Blassie. There's Johnny Valentine. Like there's Fabulous Moolah. There's all these judges for this stupid swimsuit contest crap. And eventually Mae Young comes out, and she decides it's her turn, and she shows us she shows us her swimsuit, and they censor when her top comes off on the network version or on the Netflix version, which I'm watching now. But apparently back then they didn't. So thank goodness it was censored. This was trash. Like this that came straight after that really good Hardy's Dudley's match. It was trash. So I do need to talk about the trash segment when I'm talking about the whole show. Because after that tag title matchup, we moved into the WWF Championship matchup. Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, against Triple H. So a little bit of backstory here. As I said, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are now running the World Wrestling Federation. In December, Triple H won the WWF title from The Big Show, and since then they have been rolling the roost. They put Mankind and The Rock in a pink slip on a pole match to basically punish them for speaking out against the McMahon-Helmsley regime. Mankind lost that and he was fired. A couple of weeks later, though, The Rock and all of the superstars got in the ring or around the ring area, and they refused. They were going to walk out unless Mick Foley was reinstated. He's reinstated, and Mankind gets the WWE Championship match at Royal Rumble against Triple H. A couple of weeks before the Rumble, though, they have an 8-man tag, and Triple H destroys Mick Foley. He hits him with a ring bell, and he busts him open. He pedigrees him for the announce table. He destroys Mankind. And so on an episode of SmackDown, Mankind decides, or Mick Foley does a promo where he says, you're not going to be fighting Mankind because he's not got a chance of beating you, basically. Instead, you're going to be fighting Cactus Jack. And he takes off his top and he reveals the Wanted Dead shirt. It's going to be Cactus Jack against Triple H. Who can be the most sadistic man in the WWF at Royal Rumble? This is a good story. This is a really good story. Like, the promo package for this match is brilliant. And this is a match that these two men really wanted, you can see. And it's the match that Triple H as a champion needed, and in maybe Foley's eyes, because when he was WWF champion, he never really got to a pay-per-view or retained the title or anything like that. This was a match for Foley's career as well. And this is a special match. It is a special match for both men. It's a match that I've never seen before. I've never seen any of this pay-per-view before, but I've never seen this match before. And my brother said this was the first match he remembered. And so it was nice, that kind of bond we had in that moment of this is the first match you've ever seen, and now I'm going to watch it for the first time. This match is fucking unreal. Like, this match is extraordinarily good. This is probably the best match of Triple H's career. I'm just going to say all this now. This is probably the best match of Mick Foley's career. He obviously has more iconic matches, like the Cell match with The Undertaker, but this is psychologically brilliant, and it is flawless, honestly. Storytelling wise, it's phenomenal. This match carries this show, honestly. So at the beginning, it's a bit slow, and they just work each other over with strikes and sort of stuff. And eventually, Cactus, and Triple H are outside of the ring, and Mick Foley gets hit with a ring bell again, just like Mankind did, but he does not get busted open, and he does not, he almost no-sells it a little bit. And Triple H is in the ring with a steel chair, beckoning Cactus in, and Cactus gets in, and he takes that steel chair to the head. And Cactus gets up from that, clotheslines Triple H, takes him down, goes to work. And he eventually goes outside the ring and gets a... he does a leg drop onto the chair onto Triple H's face at one point. And then they start to brawl in the crowd, and they go up to one of the entrance ways, and Mick Foley suplexes Triple H onto some wooden pallets, and he suplexes him onto these wooden pallets, and this is apparently where Triple H gets a massive gash on his left calf, like a massive deep gash, proper bleeding everywhere. And he throws him into some bricks up there as well, like a big set of bricks, and he's throwing him into the set. And they eventually come back to the ring. And Mick Foley goes under the ring and gets a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire, brings it in the ring, and the referee's telling him not to use it, and so Triple H low blows him, picks it up, and starts using it on Cactus Jack. Hits him in the midsection with it, hits him in the back, hits him in the midsection, hits him in the back, and actually gets it caught in Cactus's top. But thankfully, Cactus fights back. He hits a low blow with the barbed wire 2x4 and then dinks Triple H in the head, and then gives him an elbow drop with it, kind of to the face. That busts Triple H open. He's now bleeding from his leg and his head, bleeding everywhere profusely. Dinks him in the head again. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that's already happened. Oh, and he also hits a double arm DDT, I believe, at this point, for a big near fall. Like, he hits him with a double arm DDT, drapes the arms, a big near fall, and Triple H kicks out. There were very few near falls in this matchup. It's one of the things I really like about it. Hits the double arm DDT, Triple H kicks out. They go outside the ring. Cactus is going for a pile driver on one of the announce tables. And Triple H back body drops him, but on the same announce table, so they kind of don't even go through it. Cactus just hits it, and it slightly bends, and that makes Triple H fall over, and they both just fall over, and it just looks like a fucking car wreck. They fight, like, a little bit more. Eventually, Mick Foley, or Cactus Jack, sorry, takes a hip toss into the steel steps, injures his knee, and then Triple H then Irish whips him into it, bangs his knee on it again, throws him in the ring, and works on his knee. Shot block, hitting it with the 2x4. Cactus Jack stays alive. Chair shots and all that sort of stuff. Triple H eventually gets the... this is where the chair shots happen. Triple H eventually goes and gets some handcuffs. And he goes to handcuff Cactus Jack, but Cactus Jack fights out of it. But then he gets kicked in the knee, and Triple H gets the handcuffs behind Cactus Jack. Just like at Royal Rumble the year before, 1999, where Rock won the I Quit match. And he is beating the shit out of him. And again, he beats him up the aisle this time. Up the aisle with a massive chair shot. And Cactus is screaming at him, telling him to do it again. And Triple H goes to do it again, but The Rock comes out down the aisle and waffles Triple H with a chair shot. And that gives Cactus Jack a tiny little breather moment. A policeman comes out and undoes the handcuffs. Cactus brings Triple H back to the ringside area and puts him on the other announce table, and he goes to pile drive him through it. The table does not break either, so neither announce table broke. So he just gives him a pile driver on the table, and it almost looked even more brutal. Blood everywhere at this point, just death-defying stuff everywhere. So after this pile driver, he rolls Triple H in the ring, goes under the ring, and gets a bag. And in the bag, everyone in the crowd knows what it is. It's a bag of tacks. Pours them on the floor. Jerry Lawler kept calling it a sandbag. Bag of tacks. Thousands of thumbtacks. And he is striking Triple H with everything he's got. And Triple H is doing the nearly timbering spot into the tacks. Stephanie McMahon eventually comes out and distracts Cactus Jack for just a second, and Cactus goes for a clothesline into the tacks. Triple H back body drops him. He lands in the tacks. He rolls through them, and he gets up. Triple H pedigrees him right near where Stephanie is now, like the corner. 1, 2, Cactus kicks out. The crowd went ape shit for Cactus Jack kicking out of that pedigree, because very few people kicked out of the pedigree, although we had seen Hardcore Holly kick out of Chyna's pedigree. Cactus gets up, Triple H hooks him for the pedigree again, but this time into the tacks. Cactus goes face first into the thumbtacks. Triple H turns him over. You can actually see the thumbtacks in Mick Foley's cheeks, in his forehead. Thank God, not in his eyeballs. Triple H pins him for 1, 2, 3. Triple H retains the WWF Championship. This match is unreal. This match is amazing. This is a 5-star match. I'm pretty confident of that. It's sensational. It carries the show. It carries a lot of shows. It's one of the best WWE Championship matches probably in WWE's history. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I can't believe I've never seen this. Like, you know, you hear about how good matches are. Like, I've not seen every great match in the history of wrestling. You know? I've not seen everyone. I've not seen the Fantastics and the Freebirds or whatever. I've not seen the Von Erichs matches. I've not seen some matches. I've not actually seen the Cell match from the pay-per-view after this. So I've not seen every great match in WWE history, but I'm very grateful I've finally seen this one, because it's fucking unreal. 5 stars. After the match-up, Cactus gets up. Triple H, the winner of the match, is stretchered out. He's bleeding everywhere. He's given an oxygen mask, and Cactus, before he can get backstage, brings the gurney back out, throws him into the ring apron, brings him in the ring, dinks him one more time with the 2x4 covered in barbed wire, and then throws it on top of him. And this would prolong the feud for a couple of months. At No Way Out the next month, they would have a Hell in a Cell match, which would also be apparently a brilliant matchup, so maybe I need to watch that one day. And the month after, obviously, would be WrestleMania, where they would have the 4 corners and McMahon in every corner match as the main event of WrestleMania. But yeah, sensational stuff, this. From beginning to end, this is absolutely sensational. Go out your way and see this if you've never seen this match before. This is what I like about this series. I can see a match I've never seen before and be utterly amazed by how good psychologically, storytelling, the moves, everything. This is the best match of either man's career, probably. And it's probably not even close. 5 stars. This is actually moving into being one of my favourite matches in WWE history, I'd say. 5 stars, unbelievable. And that moves us into the main event of the show. And just before the WWF Championship matchup, we had the tag match, actually. We had a Rock promo where he said "shut up, Juice" to Michael Cole, and he said that the 2 people he was most scared of in the Rumble were Crash Holly and Headbanger Mosh. Very true. Good promo by The Rock, though. And we moved into the last part of the show, which was the Royal Rumble match, obviously. Now, I've never seen this Rumble either, but I know who wins it. And I will take you through every entrant, because I'll tell you for every entrant. So, entrant number 1 was D'Lo Brown, who had just come off being the Continental Champion, I think. Entrant number 2 was Grandmaster Sexay, the late Brian Christopher, and the son of Jerry Lawler. Number 3 was Mosh. Number 4 was Christian. And then finally things would happen. They just did stuff. And then finally things would happen when entrant number 5 came in, Rikishi. Or as JR kept saying, Rakishi, for some reason. Honestly, every time me and my brother were watching it, I was like, why is JR calling him Rakishi? Very weird. So Rikishi comes in, eliminates Mosh, eliminates Christian, and hits D'Lo Brown with the rump shaker, the Rikishi driver, and then throws him in. He looks at Grandmaster Sexay, and Grandmaster Sexay's like, wait. And then the next entrant comes in, it's Scotty 2 Hotty. And Scotty comes down with some glasses, gives a pair to Grandmaster Sexay, gives a pair to Rikishi, and they have a little dance celebration. And you know what? Some people don't like the Too Cool dance celebration in the middle of the Rumble, but it's so early in the Rumble, and the crowd loved it. So I've got no problem with this. And then Rikishi threw the 2 of them out. So the person who really should have, been in charge in this situation, did at least get the upper hand on the other 2 goofballs. Number 7 was Steve Blackman. He came out and hit a series of kicks, but then was hit with the Rikishi driver and immediately tossed out. Rikishi dominating this part of the Rumble. Number 8 was Viscera, who Rikishi also tosses out. That means that was his 7th elimination. Number 9 was Big Boss Man, and he waited to come into the ring until number 10, Test, had come out, and then the two of them got in the ring together and teamed up on Rikishi. Number 11 was the British Bulldog. Number 12 was Gangrel. And number 13 was Edge. Number 13 was Edge. Number 14 was Bob Backlund. And when Bob Backlund was in, and Bob Backlund was a surprise because Bob Backlund hadn't been in WWF for probably a few years, and he came out as in his red shorts. When Bob Backlund comes out, finally Rikishi is eliminated. Everyone in the ring teams up on Rikishi and eliminates him. Now, those 7 eliminations Rikishi got, I know that early in the Rumble, but they would actually tell the fans that he would be getting a big push. He gets a push towards the IC title eventually, which he would lose to Val Venis, I believe. And then he gets a push later on in the year when he turns heel, when he does it for The Rock, and would eventually go into the WWF Armageddon Hell in a Cell match. So, this was sort of a precursor for Rikishi. Number 15 was Chris Jericho. Number 16 was Crash Holly. Number 17 was Chyna. Now, Chyna wouldn't last very long, but she would eliminate Chris Jericho. Her and Jericho are fighting near the apron, and she actually suplexes Chris Jericho out of the ring. But while she's gloating on the apron, Big Boss Man pushes her off the apron, so she was eliminated as well. 18 was Farouk. He comes out and is immediately attacked by the Mean Street Posse, Pete Gas, Johnny Apps, and the other guy. And they distract him, and Big Boss Man also eliminates him. Very strange that Big Boss Man was getting such a push in 2000. I know that he has a match at Mania 2000 where he teams with Bull Buchanan, but a bit weird this. I mean, Big Boss Man at Armageddon, literally a month before, was challenging for the WWF Championship, so maybe it's right that he's getting a little bit of a push. Number 19 is the Road Dogg. The first part of DX to be in the match. 20 is Al Snow. 21 is Val Venis. 22 is Prince Albert, and he eliminates someone, but I can't remember who it is. 23 is Hardcore Holly. 24 is The Rock, the favourite to win the match. He comes in and immediately eliminates Big Boss Man just by punching him enough over the top rope. It's quite a funny elimination. 25 is Billy Gunn, the second half of the New Age Outlaws. 26 is The Big Show, probably the second favourite to win the match. 27 is Bradshaw, who is also attacked by the Mean Street Posse, and he is eliminated as well. 28 is Kane. 29 is The Godfather, and 30 is X-Pac. So a couple of people are eliminated. Val Venis is eliminated by Kane. Road Dogg is eliminated by Billy Gunn, and then Billy Gunn is eliminated by Kane as well, I believe. And it comes down to a final 4 of The Big Show, The Rock, Kane, and X-Pac, of all people. And they had a little final 4 segment, and eventually, Kane would power slam the Big Show, but that would wear him out, and X-Pac would hit a spinning heel kick and eliminate Kane. So, X-Pac was in the final 3 of the Royal Rumble, which is crazy. That would actually help with their feud, though. So, X-Pac turns on Kane after, the story of Kane becoming friends with X-Pac, winning the tag titles. X-Pac eventually turns on him, and eventually X-Pac takes Tori, Kane's girlfriend at the time, away from him. So this would actually further their feud. X-Pac was eliminated by The Rock, but the referee doesn't see it at one point. And so he eventually gets back in the ring, and The Rock just eliminates him again. So we had a final 2 of The Big Show and The Rock. This doesn't last very long. The Rock hits a spinebuster on The Big Show, hits a people's elbow on The Big Show, goes to throw him out. The Big Show counters it, hits a choke slam, lifts up The Rock in a power slam position, and you've seen this elimination a million times before. He goes to throw The Rock over the ropes, but Rock's momentum pulls The Big Show with him, and the Big Show's feet go over the ropes, hit the floor, the Big Show's eliminated, The Rock skins the cat and survives. Now, what we didn't see on watching the show was that the Rock's feet actually do touch the floor, and everyone apparently in Madison Square Garden saw the Rock's feet touch the floor, and so they obviously turned it into the storyline of the Big Show saying, actually, the Rock's feet did touch the floor. I should have won the Rumble. But The Rock wins the 2000 Royal Rumble match. After the match, he cuts a promo. The Big Show throws him out the ring, and it's not a great ending to the show. They're just sort of staring at each other and shouting at each other. But the Royal Rumble match itself, though, I actually thought was pretty dull. Like, it was pretty boring. There's some good names in there, like Kane, Big Show, The Rock. But outside of that, there was no one that was... Realistically, there weren't a lot of options to win it. And Big Show was obviously WWF champion a month prior, but what chance did he have of winning the Rumble realistically? It was only The Rock. Triple H was the champion, it was only going to be The Rock. And realistically, they did the right finish. And they had a storyline going into Mania, and it was The Rock, and it helped because The Rock actually helped Cactus Jack earlier in the show, even though he didn't win the title. But the Rumble's pretty dull. Like, the Rikishi bit at the beginning I quite liked because he just eliminated everyone, and sometimes those are pretty fun bits. And the Too Cool bit was cool. But the rest of the Rumble was pretty boring, so I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It was a pretty drab Rumble with a pretty basic winner. And that was how you ended the show. So, my overall grade of the show is pretty tough because there's a fucking insane match on here, like an all-time great match. And then there's a really, really good tables match. But then there's a pretty bad tag title match. There's, the IC title match, which I could take or leave. The Diva swimsuit stuff, which I've barely touched on, which was just diabolical television. And then, Taz's debut. I think I'm going to give the show a 7. Like, it's actually better than, when you think about it. Like, the Rumble's okay. Like, it's pretty boring, run-of-the-mill Rumble, but it could have been worse. And then there's an all-time match on here, a really, really underrated little Hardys-Dudleys match, and the debut of Taz. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a good show overall. If you're going to watch it, just watch the Hardys-Dudleys match and the Triple H Cactus Jack match. Like, please watch that match. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Good show overall. Although last night when I finished the show, my thoughts were much worse. My thoughts were like, this is a bad show outside of that match. But then again, that match is so incredibly good that sometimes they carry shows. You know what I mean? Like, 5-star matches carry shows. Look at Taker and Bloody Michaels, 25. But that is a show I should probably re-review at some point anyway, because I'm sure there's other things on that show, like the Money in the Bank or something, that are pretty good. But I guess, guys, thanks for watching. This has been my review of Royal Rumble 2000, my unexpected review of Royal Rumble 2000. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think of Royal Rumble 2000? Have you seen the show? What do you think to Cactus Jack versus Triple H? Is it the best of their two matches? Is the Hell in a Cell match better? What did you think to the Royal Rumble? Do you think it was as dull as I did? What did you think to the Hardys-Dudleys match and how that was like a precursor to these great TLC matches we'll be getting over the next few years? And what did you think to the rest of the show? The Diva swimsuit competition, the not very good tag match, the IC title match, and Taz's debut. Thanks for watching, guys, on this sort of unexpected episode of PPV Flashbacks. This has been Revolver Slap.